What is going on, my Houston Texans family? I hope you guys are having a very good hump day so far. So today we will be reacting to our friend John Crumpler, lead analyst for the Texans Wire. And shout out to the Texans Wire for posting very good content for our team. And shout out to John. He's been on the channel many times. He was in yesterday's video. He doesn't know we're doing this. So John, you're doing a fantastic job, buddy. You're also saving lives out there. Shout out to John. And shout out to this article. We are going to start. Bright days are ahead of the Houston Texans. This is something interesting. The team has 12 draft picks tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the most in the draft and $37.1 million in cap space, the fourth most in the NFL. There are plenty of resources to help Ryans improve what was one of the league's worst rosters in 2022. No, absolutely right. And this is also what Nick Caserio said, that in 2023, he wanted to spend some money. And without further ado, let's start the mock draft. It is no brainer where Mr. Crump Daddy is going to go, and that is Bryce Young, Alabama quarterback. And here we see why. Young provides maturity, breathtaking playmaking ability, high level accuracy, and fantastic pocket elevation that projects as a franchise quarterback at the next. His frame, some reportedly believe as small as 5'10", 185 pounds, will be cause of some concern for NFL evaluators. Now, this is just the main problem we heard this whole couple of months is it's the fact that he is 5'10", 170 pounds wet. You know, John adds in a good tweet. Historically, first round quarterbacks fail because of immaturity. Bryce Young does not have that inaccuracy. Bryce Young does not have that. His inability to have improvements, right? Read bad on field decisions. And if you look at Alabama, even though Bryce Young lost Jameson Williams and lost John Menchie, didn't turn the ball over, 3,000 yards, 32 tutties. Bring me some Bryce Young. And then you're adding in his number one wide receiver. But in this one, you trade back, right? There are some trades in this mock draft. He traded with the Detroit Lions for the 2020 tweet numbers 18 and 49 overall, a 2024 third rounder for the Houston Texans, number 12th overall pick. His reasoning for this: Caserio has also been an aggressive trader during his first two drafts. As such, with a laundry list of needs for his new coaching hire, it is only appropriate to project a few trades in this mock. And absolutely, the Texans find their playmaking wide receiver of the future in Smith-Njigba. The Buckeyes had recently produced Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, both of which are considered the favorites to win the 2022 NFL Offensive Rookie in the Year. And Jackson Smith and not Njigba, he dealt with a ankle injury this year, right? Only put up about 700 to 900 yards. However, the year before that, 1,500 yards, a very good route runner, is a playmaker. And when you're D'Amico Ryans and you want to bring in that Shanahan offense, right? Well, you want someone like a Jackson Smith, Njigba, who thrives off of separation and can make people miss and make people miss just based off his routes. I like the first round of a Bryce Young and a Jackson Smith-Njigba. At number two, Nolan Smith, right? Did get injured this year. I think he injured his pec. I'm not sure if he mentioned that's here, but he's a 6'3", 235-pound dude, very fast. There is a bend that is crazy. Suffered a torn pectoral muscle in 2022 and derailed what was expected to be a potential All-American campaign. Now, Nolan Smith, he went against the left tackle, of the opposing teams in the SEC, had, three sacks almost every single year. Started off this season very strong, did get hurt, was supposed to be projected in the top 15 to 20, but obviously with that injury does fall back a bit. The Houston Texans need some help on the defensive line. It was absolutely nowhere, to be seen this year. Our bright spot was Jerry Hughes, and he's 37, 38 years old. So hopefully adding someone like Nolan Smith will help the Houston Texans pass rushing attack. And in the second round, the Houston Texans go Jamir Gibbs, Alabama, one of my favorite picks in this mock draft. He reminds me of Alvin Kamara, and I think John mentions that here. He calls him Alvin. Let me see. NFL evaluators are comparing Gibbs to New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara. He had 900 yards on the ground, almost 1,000 through the air. Uh, Alabama's leading receiver this past season, while Young was forced to work with a far less talented host of wideouts. He has explosive speed to attack the edge and soft hands that project to be extremely valuable on third down. Can you imagine him and Bryce Young and Damian Pierce as your kind of three-headed monster in the backfield? I absolutely love that. And you can have both these running backs on the field at the same time. Damian Pierce showed that he can also catch the ball as well. But Jamir Gibbs is just special, in space and makes people miss, could just juke you like nobody's business and take it to the house. If I wanted a Bijan Robinson in the first, I could be patient and wait and take Jamir Gibbs in the second and will absolutely be happy with the 1-2 punch of Damian Pierce and Jamir Gibbs in the backfield. And in the third round, linebacker Noah Sewell, his brother plays for the Lions left tackle. Sewell was a projected first rounder, 6'3", 260. Dude is an absolute monster. You might have to make him lose maybe 10, 15, 20 pounds so he could get a little bit of a speed, but a bully. He is just dominant in the run game, and adding him next to Christian Harris is absolutely crazy, right? A 6'3", 250-pound linebacker will serve as a natural run-thumping complement to a second-year player, Christian Harris, and is the type of athlete that could make major strides under Ryan's system. Houston has already addressed, the pass rush in this mock, and now they work towards the biggest weakness of this year's teams in the second level run defense. And we know that, Ryan spoke about his love of drafting linebackers, in his press conference, and we think that's somewhere that he might go. Hey, man, no, so is an absolute unit, kind of reminds me of Benardrick McKinney, but like I said, loses a little bit more weight, is just more sound. And when you watched him play at Oregon, he didn't really mess up. He had an interception, could have had two more, but doesn't have good hands. And to finish off the mock draft, a fun one, quarterback Max Duggan from TCU. The Houston Texans obviously need to go ahead and take a quarterback. Why not take one at the later rounds? You always got to take a quarterback, so that the Patriots did all day. But however, if you were to tell me that in the first three rounds, the Houston Texans will end up with Bryce Young, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Nolan Smith, Jamir Gibbs, and Noah Sewell to round out the first 100 picks, I would absolutely say that, the Houston Texans killed it this draft, just like what they did last year. They selected all SEC guys. And this is something that when you look at where this team is going and the coaching staff that you just hired and selected, DeMeco Ryans is going to bring the absolute best out of these young prospects and this young core that we have already on the team. I am just excited for it. And as much as I want to give you guys a free agency list, I don't know who's our OC. I don't know who's our DC. I don't know what's taking too long. However, y'all let me know how you feel about Mr. John Crumpler's mock draft. I love it. It's SEC, guys. We've seen a pen of this the past, last year. So you guys let me know what you think. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.